Hi and welcome to this channel, African International Relations, and in this video I'm gonna cover oh god, I thought this was going to be easy, but okay. I'm going to cover 3 tips on how Bobi Wine can beat Museveni at his own game, and let's get into the video. So by now, all of you know that Yoweri Museveni won the January 14th, 2021 elections. He won this with a margin, alleged margin of 58%, blah, blah, blah. I don't even care for the number. And he did so with glaring malpractices, discrepancies, and outright open cheating, allegedly. And so in this video, we are going to look at tips best in realism. For those of you who have studied IR, you know realism, that's the school of thought which focuses on power, mostly military and economic, and emphasizes on those 2 areas as a way to kind of gain an upper hand over your over other states. Really, the ultimate goal of a state is to have power, mainly in terms of military and economic areas. So how do we beat Museveni? Because right now he has military power. He really used the military. That was his crutch in winning the election. 2, he has control over Ugandan resources. This is because of his use of the military. And so he also has economic power. He basically owns everything that is profitable in the country right now, allegedly. So how do we beat him? 3 tips. Number 1, diplomatic isolation. And if I say diplomatic, it doesn't mean that, oh, okay, now you've gone into liberalism or whatever. Yeah, in realism, there is still diplomacy. Seek out his not so best friends. Seek them out, align with them. This tactic actually also worked for Museveni. Also, it worked for him in that he founded FRONASA and flew to Tanzania in the 70s, late 70s, and it was actually Tanzania that overthrew Idi Amin, not Museveni himself, and it was that diplomatic isolation and work against Idi Amin in those subsequent years that allowed for Museveni to eventually take power 6 years later. This is what Bobi Wine should also now focus on, or other leaders. I'll actually talk a little bit about that, why I say other leaders, at the end of this video. But let's go on. So seek out his not so best friends. I don't want to use the other word. Seek out his not so best friends and get to working with them. Museveni is looked at as the Baba, grandfather in the Great Lakes region. He's basically, kind of really comfortable in that region. I even watched one of his croonies, one of his videos saying, hey, the president is really strong in his foreign relations area. Like, he doesn't even care about what happens, here. And yeah, let's admit it, he is. Can you take him down? Yes, guaranteed. There are leaders in that Great Lakes region who do not appreciate the fact that Museveni is kind of stretching his tendrils everywhere into every other country. Get with them. Work with them. This is the thing. Yes, we can call on the international community to save us. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yes, they can. And no, okay. We can. But we all know that some of the dirty groundwork is actually done by actual Africans themselves. let us recognize this role and actually realize it and say, yes, a lot of the dirty groundwork in coups, in political malpractices, it's done by the Africans themselves. The international community wouldn't be able to come in if there wasn't someone doing the groundwork. So get in there, find out who doesn't like who. Manipulate that. Realism, gain the upper hand. Number 2, combine social media with silence. This is actually something that I think Bobi Wine is already doing. He kind of showed an example of this when he secretly managed to register his what is it called? His political party, that's NUP. He registered it in silence, without the government knowing. I think this should really become a trademark tactic or strategy in the struggle, or in the in the aim of taking down Yoweri Museveni. So please keep quiet. Why I say this, because I saw shortly before the elections, Bobi Wine announced his app, asking people to use it. I think that should really have been an underground tactic, because then social media was significantly targeted. The internet was heavily targeted. And I think that was a little bit because You Vote, the app, I believe, was announced, and the regime recognized the ability of the internet in exposing its crime and its alleged crimes and malpractices. So, you know, we should really focus on moving in silence while also letting people know. And I think, you know, this is the age of the internet. That can be done. That can be done. Number 3, resources. And this doesn't go out only to Bobi Wine. This goes out to the people of Uganda also. Make it impossible for this man to carry out business, because right now he controls the resources in Uganda, and that's because he has the military. So internally, there's not so much you could do, but I believe Uganda has a large diaspora, which is very much in touch with its people back home. Make it impossible for this man and this government to carry out business. That's one way to delegitimize this. I think it's important for the Ugandan people in gaining an upper hand by telling the international business community, look, if you're transacting business with this man, it's illegal. We're not going to accept it. If he goes out of power tomorrow, you won't get your money back, say if you give a loan. You know, file lawsuits in the World Trade Organization. Uganda is actually a part of so many pacts and treaties, business-wise, bilateral treaties. Get in there, get dirty, file lawsuits, make it impossible. Get to him, get to where the money is, get to this regime. It should work. It should be war, and it shouldn't only be like war, in the physical sense with guns and all this stuff. It should be outright economic war if you have to, and that should, in a way, if you're thinking in realist terms, work towards delegitimizing the regime, and which will in turn help with upsetting the alleged dictator. So get in there, get dirty. It can be done, you know. So those are 3 realism tips. If we can go over them again: A, diplomatic isolation; B, move with silence, you know; C, resources, attacking where the money is, economic, you know, a disempowerment really. And those are 3 realist tactics that you can go hard in a bid to delegitimize, because Bobi Wine has been successful. If you want to think in terms of liberalism, he has appealed to the people. He has put out, in my opinion, a pretty solid manifesto, which has lots of room for growth. Lots and lots of room for growth. He has appealed to people's emotions. He has produced evidence of the misdoings or misconduct of the regime. He has done everything right. But now it's time to get a little bit dirty. In fact, get very dirty, because that's what politics is. It's not a fair game. And lastly, I also mentioned, that this may go to Bobi Wine or to other leaders. I have this theory that sadly, I don't know. I might be wrong. If he comes to power, it will be a very serious, struggle that will bring him to power. But I think he might also just be one of those people who paves the way for someone else to come into power. And however sad that makes me, that might be the reality. So if you are that other person out there, if you are the one who will come into power, please don't turn into a dictator. Africans can't afford that. And I mean that in the literal sense. Okay, let's do this. That's the end of it. Please subscribe, like, and subscribe. Please share. And join me again. I think I'll be putting out a couple of videos every week because there is a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. And focus on also boosting Africa in international relations, because we need to think beyond. We need to think beyond our borders in Africa and beyond our African continental borders. So let's get going. All right, see you. Talk soon. Next video. Bye.